Forests are being threatened right now in so many ways. Climate change is creating situations of drought and flooding and wildfires of much greater intensities. %80 of all wildlife live in forests. So as forests disappear, their food supply disappears, their home disappears. American forests is playing an important role in turning the tide and creating space for these species to thrive again.
Because we have both the Central and Mississippi flyways converge in this area, the biodiversity here in South Texas is extremely high. People come from all over the world to see rare birds, rare butterflies, dragonflies that you can't see anywhere else in the United States.
95% of what was a forested ecosystem in this area has been converted to agricultural use, which has decimated the habitat that was there supporting all of this wildlife. Since 1997, American Forest has been working with local and federal partners to help convert land that used to be forest back into forest.
We got funding and support from American Forest to help pay for seedlings and to augment our capabilities to do restoration. And we plant anywhere from 45 to 60 species of trees back on the landscape. The real intention is to create the wildlife corridor, which would be a linear connection of habitat that will ultimately benefit the ocelot and other native resident species.
The greater Yellowstone area has several threatened species, but the species that American Forest works with the most is the grizzly bear. There was over 50,000 of them originally, and now there's 1,700 of them total. The grizzly bear has been listed as threatened since the early 70s due to hunting and habitat destruction.
Whitebark pine is like a mother species, and when whitebark pine disappears, the bears go along with it. When we don't have cone crops, we know that the bears move down in elevation. So if we can provide that food source in high elevation ecosystems where those wildlife are used to living, everybody is where they should be.
We're going to be preparing the sites so that these whitebark stands are much more able to withstand the threats that they're facing.
Disease-resistant trees are identified out in the wild, and we collect cones from them. We plant those and we test them to make sure they're disease-resistant.
We will be planting 15 acres of about 5,000 trees that are survivors from that rust screening. We can restore this ecosystem if we have that planting commitment.
Longleaf pine once existed on nearly 92 million acres, which extended from Virginia all the way west to Texas and south into Florida. Currently, we're at about 3% of that acreage.
Longleaf pine ecosystems are some of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the entire world. Longleaf pine is home to over 29 threatened and endangered species.
Here on the Osceola National Forest, we've planted about 5,000 acres of longleaf pine over the last 3 years.
For 2 decades, American Forests has worked with local partners to plant nearly 4 million longleaf pine trees in these critical habitat ecosystems. The work that we are doing, it's work that we have to do now. With time, you can actually see the difference. You can actually see species that are on the brink of extinction come back.
We have planted more than 46 million trees in all 50 states and in 44 different countries. With increased support, American Forest would expand our reforestation efforts across the United States and the globe.
It is our obligation to share this planet. It is not just for humans, it's for all living things. We need the support of people who care about wildlife, who care about our forests, who want to see these animals around for their children and their children's children. And we can't do it alone. We need you to be part of it.